What's up, gamers? I'm your host, Cobra, and this is Freeroll Friday. This week, we're talking about making conviction plays for projects like Frontier and Guild of Guardians. Now, if you've been following along for the last several weeks, then you know during our Market Watch updates, I have been calling out several spots where I have been monitoring to make a potential purchase in the future. And today we are going to break down specifically what that means and what I am looking for before pulling the trigger. I'm also going to talk about a handful of the projects that I am keeping a close eye on today so that you can do the same as well. And always, to be very, very clear, I am not qualified to give financial advice, and this is not intended to be financial advice. We're talking about my thought process before making these types of investments into Web3 or NFT-based games. So before we jump into some of these specific examples of projects that I have my eye on today, let's take a look at the questions I walk myself through when evaluating whether or not a Web3 gaming project is in the right position to start making a long-term conviction play. Now, what do I mean by a long-term conviction play? That means anything that is going to be potentially a very long hold. Now, traditionally in the investment space, I consider a year plus as a long hold. However, in the crypto space, anything that's even a few months can be considered a very long hold. The first thing that I am looking for is that the project has finished minting out all of the NFTs that they're going to mint, or at least all of the NFTs that they intend to mint pre-release. This is because I don't want to see the quantity increase after I have made secondary purchases. An increase in quantity tends to mean a decrease in price, and if they haven't minted out all of their pre-launch NFTs, then we're going to continue to wait. The next question is hopefully a simple one. Does it still look like they're developing a fun, playable game? That is fundamental to any of these projects having real, sustained, mainstream success that we are looking for in this space. And if you don't have a lot of confidence that the game itself is going to be a lot of fun, then where exactly do you think the value for your investment is going to come from? Then, just as importantly, how has my opinion of the project team changed over time? Now, I'm looking specifically at the team itself, and the reason for this is because you can have the greatest plan in the world, but if you don't have the ability to execute said plan, you're not going to have any real success. So, how has the team done since we started following the project, and do we still have the same level, if not more, confidence in their ability to deliver, or has that confidence diminished? If it's diminished, then how strong a possibility do you think there is that the project itself rebounds? A bear market is when the real winners are going to separate themselves from the losers, and we want to see a team that is working well, driving forward, and continuing to build during these poor market conditions despite the performance of their NFT's price. When I'm making this particular evaluation, I am looking for things like actual hard evidence. There are lots of projects out there that have frontmen or women that are really good on a Twitter space or YouTube stream, but that doesn't mean that they are good managers and have the ability to deliver this product. What have they shown us in terms of development so far? Have we been getting peeks behind the scenes as development continues? Are they giving us the opportunity to impact the visual effect of some of the characters and the game itself? Have they shown us a gameplay trailer, or better yet, have we been able to test out a gameplay demo? The more of these questions that you're able to answer yes to, likely the more confidence that you have in the project you're evaluating. Now, if you've passed all of our other tests, then things are starting to look juicy. The last part that we are looking at is actually a two-parter. First, what do the NFT's prices today look like in comparison to their relative all-time high? We want to be buying the dip, so we're looking for projects that have fallen well below their peak prices so that we can get a deal. And lastly, we want to take a look at the project's roadmap to see if there are any potential market catalyst events coming up in the near future. It certainly could be the case that we have passed all of the other tests and the prices look very juicy compared to their all-time highs, but at the same time, we're still 3, 6, 9 months away from a predictable market catalyst event. And if that's the case, I don't necessarily want to be holding for that much longer. So we're looking for projects that have potential events coming up in the near future. Typically that means in the next couple of weeks, if not the next couple of months. So let's talk about some of the games and projects that we have been keeping our eye on for potential long-term conviction purchases. And the first one will be of no surprise for anybody that's been following this channel. It is Guild of Guardians. This is my favorite project in the Web3 space and the one that I have the most confidence in. That's because it's a fantasy RPG and it's going to be a mobile first game. That combination gives me a ton of confidence that they're going to be successful because quite frankly, we've seen that sort of game have a lot of success in a traditional Web 2 manner. And in my opinion, it is one of the video game genres that fits best on the blockchain because it has a lot of elements to it that can be tokenized. This year has been slow for Guild of Guardians because they have been primarily focused on development. This is a classic trap that all of the Web3 games eventually fall into, and it tends to mean that their NFT prices and token prices suffer. That has been the case for Guild of Guardians. This year they have delivered not one but 2 very successful playtest demos. We had the good fortune of being able to participate in both of those demos, so I can tell you firsthand that the game is progressing very nicely and it is a lot of fun. As I predicted, it is definitely the type of game that I would find myself spending many hours playing even if it was not a Web3 game. So the fact that it exists on the blockchain and gives us real ownership opportunities is a tremendous upsell. Early in 2022, the prices for everything Guild of Guardians was way higher than it is today and way higher than the mint prices. That is because at that time, the community was expecting some playable gameplay to be launched very soon. They then updated their roadmap and pushed out the target dates quite a bit, which brought a damper to the market and started the long, slow slide for NFT prices that we are still seeing today. That said, the long wait is coming close to an end. The next Catalyst event is going to be the alpha playtest, and this is when they're going to release a version of the game that exists on the testnet blockchain. Previous playtest demos have been completely off-chain, so this will be a big step forward. I expect it is going to be open to a lot of players, if not everybody that is holding an NFT from the project today, and it is likely going to provide a big confidence boost to potential investors. If we also see the market start to turn around in that time frame, and we've seen several experts make predictions like that, then that could be a real catalyst for the market to grow. So now is a great time to purchase Guild of Guardians assets. Pretty much everything is under its mint price, so you're getting fantastic deals. Personally, I would focus on hero characters because they're usable in-game once the game launches, and having the NFT version of the characters will definitely give you a boost and make winning early on a bit easier. The other item that I like a lot is the energy token. This is going to allow you to play with your characters more per day and level them up faster. That is an invaluable resource that I don't think the market has quite recognized today. The second and final project that I have been keeping a very close eye on for potential long-term conviction holds is Frontier. Now, this is another project that we have been following on this channel for a long time now, and it fits all of our other qualifications quite nicely. Previously, this was a team that I had the utmost confidence in because throughout all of 2021, they really delivered on every promise that they made and on time. That was totally unheard of at the time and really helped them separate themselves. They have struggled to meet deadlines in 2022 as they get deeper and deeper into the development cycle, which is normal and expected, but still a change in the expectations that the community previously had for the project. Combine that with the fact that it has been a slow year and the overall market conditions have greatly deteriorated, and the prices for everything Frontier related are way, way below their all-time highs. Now, that said, if you're looking to get into the project, I think just about every NFT in the collection is a safe purchase today, as I expect everything to improve over time if and when the team is able to deliver its game. However, there's really only one NFT that I would recommend and that I am keeping an eye on for additional purchases, and it is the regular data key. The reason for that is because it has sunk well below its all-time high, and at the time I thought that was an undervalued asset even at its highest price. Today you can get a data key for 0.21, and if you're patient enough to wait on a potential offer being accepted, you could get that for even less. An offer of about 0.18 or 19 likely gets accepted within a day or two if you throw it out there. That's what I'm going to be looking to do in the near future. And the reason is I think that when we get closer to the game actually launching, and more specifically when we get close to the data token actually launching, we're going to see a lot of secondary action for this NFT because it greatly benefits from those announcements and will provide airdrop and revenue creating opportunities for its holders. Now, as I mentioned, the Frontier team has struggled to deliver on its promises in 2022, which has been a problem. However, they have very recently told us more than once that they are still on track for their closed alpha release, and that is still expected to happen inside of Q4. Beyond that, we are also looking for the data token to be dropped and its initial offering to go live. That should be a major benefit to data key holders and NFT holders for the project in general. And those two things seem like they are getting closer and closer. I don't have a ton of confidence that's going to happen inside the next month or so, so we're probably going to be waiting a little bit longer before pulling the trigger on these particular purchases. But when those things do happen, I would fully expect that the Frontier project in general sees some major secondary action, and that we see the floor prices for many, if not all, of the NFTs start to rise again. And now it's time for our Market Watch update. We're going to run through this a little bit quicker than normal because we spent a lot of time talking about a couple of these projects in the previous segment. Starting with Otherside, Other Deeds, the floor has dropped just 1% in the last week to 1.73. However, we've seen a big jump of 35% on the biogenetic swamp floor, which is the Bay Sea land. There has been a lot of sweeps for that particular sediment type recently, which is a positive sign for sure. That floor is up to 4.99 if you ignore the stolen deeds. The Coda floor is down 4% at 13.69, but that's holding relatively flat. Over on Immutable X, we see Illuvium Land has risen a little bit. In fact, it's the only project with multiple green numbers this week. The Tier 1 land is back up to 0.32. That's approximately the lowest mint price that was available during their land mint sale. The Tier 2 land is up 1% to 8. However, we've seen a big 20% drop on the Tier 3 land as it's down to 2.64. Our other Immutable X project, Guild of Guardians, has continued to see a slow slide in its overall floor prices. The rare heroes remained flat this week at 0.0032. That is a very inexpensive price, especially when you consider it's a gasless transaction. The epic heroes have slid 8% down to 0.012. Also a fantastic value. And we see legendary heroes coming in at 0.074, which is well below its USD-based mint price, which was between $200 and $250, depending on when you got in. You're getting that for almost half of the upper end today. The legendary pets floor is down to 0.29, which is a slide of 15%. However, I want to call out that that is only one of the 3 legendary pets that is that low. The other 2 have prices that look a bit healthier, and therefore the floor priced pet is probably a good opportunity. Over on Polygon, we continue to see a lot of red in Riot Racers land. The overall floor for Artemis cars has dropped 13% to 0.0069. The Apollo car floor has dropped to 0.0175, which is down 20%. The Genesis car floor is still at 0.05. That is flat week over week. And the Genesis driver floor has dropped a little bit to 0.0075, which is down 6% on the week. We talked about Frontier a bit earlier and how juicy those prices are getting. Look at all of the red for Frontier this week. The Stellar key has dropped another 10% down to 2.15. The Data key has dropped a whopping 28% to 0.21. And the 0 units has dropped another 15% to 0.017. These are all very juicy prices, though we may still see them slide a little bit further. Finally, wrapping things up, Parallel is also red. This is likely due to people getting ready for Pack Drop 5, which happens tomorrow. This is typical behavior, and now is not the time to be buying because expect to see a lot of additional cards get listed after the pack drop this weekend. So heading into the next couple of weeks is probably your next buying window for Parallel. We see their overall floor is down 23% to 0.002, getting even closer to 0 for those common FEs. The SE floor is down 15% to 0.011. That is quite a bit lower than we'd like to see it. And the Prime Key floor is also down, although only 6% to 14.95. Hopefully, we are going to get lucky and pull one of those this weekend. And that wraps up this week's Freeroll Friday. We hope you found this fun and informative, and if you did, consider giving us a follow on Twitter. That's where I love to engage with the Web3 gaming community and answer all of your questions. Also, if you haven't already, do me a favor and double check that you've hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps to support the channel.